Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. We have some breaking news. We are getting Belal Muhammad versus Sean Brady at UFC 281 in Abu Dhabi, October 22nd. And this is a very compelling welterweight matchup. And not only that, I think this brings into some questions about who is Khamzat Chimaev going to fight next. Because if you would have asked me a week ago, I would have said for sure I thought the UFC was going to make Belal Muhammad versus Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 281 in Abu Dhabi. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video, but I want to give you my early reaction to Brady versus Muhammad, and also I'm going to give you an early prediction for that fight towards the end of this video. So first off, my initial reaction to the news, I'm really excited. This is the first big fight that's been announced for UFC 281 in Abu Dhabi. There's been some speculation about a potential Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev lightweight title fight for the main event. I don't know if that's going to happen. Charles Oliveira says he doesn't want to fight in Abu Dhabi, but who knows? The UFC gets what the UFC wants, so that remains to be seen. But this is a great fight. I think this will probably be like maybe the featured fight on the main card. And I know a lot of people complain, oh, Belal Muhammad's boring, this and that. But I still think this is two elite level welterweights. And this has a great storyline because Sean Brady is a guy that a lot of people are very, very high on. And he's been asking for a jump up in the rankings. He's currently sitting at number 9. He's coming off a big win over Michael Chiesa, and he's getting a big step up in Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad's currently sitting at number 5 in the UFC official rankings, and this is going to be a very tough test for Sean Brady, especially considering that in his last fight against Michael Chiesa, he did very well in the first 2 rounds. And I know supposedly he had some type of nose injury, and that's why his cardio was bad. But in the 3rd round, the tide started to turn against Michael Chiesa. And had that been a 5-round fight, I think there's a very good chance that Michael Chiesa could have, turned it around and beat Sean Brady. But Sean Brady wins on the judges' scorecards, wins 2 rounds to 1. And now we get to see him against Belal Muhammad, who's coming off that amazing performance. I mean, I know some people are going to clown me in the comments, an amazing performance against Vicente Luque. He took him down, controlled him, won a decision. But to do that to a guy like Vicente Luque, who I consider one of the elite in the welterweight division. I picked Vicente Luque in that fight. I thought he would stuff the takedowns. I thought he was a far superior striker. For Belal Muhammad to go out there and do that, I think that was a great performance. Even if it wasn't the most exciting performance, to dominate a guy like Vicente Luque, it shows that Belal Muhammad is on the path to a title, as crazy as that sounds. And his last fight before that, he beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Not the most exciting performance, but absolutely dominated him in that fight. And I picked against him in that fight as well. I've been underestimating Belal Muhammad time and time again. And now he's fighting this young up-and-coming guy in Sean Brady. And both guys are excellent grapplers. You look at Sean Brady, you look at Belal Muhammad, they both do the same thing. They don't have the best striking. They want to take you down. They want to push you up against the fence. They want to get you down on the ground. They want to control you on the ground. And that's how they want to win. They want to outpoint you, win a decision. I mean, in 25 pro fights, Belal Muhammad has 16 decisions. So that just goes to show you what Belal Muhammad is typically doing in his fights. And, arguably he hasn't lost since 2019. He has the no contest against Leon Edwards where he was losing the fight. He got poked in the eye. He was unable to continue. It was a really bad poke. But it looked like Leon Edwards was going to win that fight, but you never know. I mean, the fight didn't get to play out. It only lasted, a couple rounds. I think it only lasted 2 rounds. So we really don't know. And now you have Kamaru Usman fighting Leon Edwards for the title in August at UFC, I think it's 278. So the winner of that fight, if it's Kamaru Usman, he's going to need, another contender. Now he's beat Colby twice. He's beat Burns. He's beat Jorge Masvidal twice. Kamaru Usman is going to need some fresh contenders. And you have Khamzat Chimaev kind of hanging out in the wings. And now you have the winner of Sean Brady versus Belal Muhammad. And as far as how I see this fight going, I think this is a tough fight to predict. You have both guys who are very good grapplers. You have both guys who aren't the best strikers. And I think this is going to come down to a striking match. We've seen Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 1. I think that's kind of what this fight is going to look like. It's going to be contested on the feet. I don't think either guy is going to be able to out-grapple the other. I'm wondering, though, what is the cardio of Sean Brady going to look like? I know supposedly the nose injury was causing him trouble breathing, and that's the reason, he started to gas in that 3rd round. But I'm curious, we know Belal Muhammad can go a hard 5 rounds. He did it against Vicente Luque, who is one of the elite within the division. So I see this fight playing out on the feet. And I don't know who's really the better striker. If I had to make an early prediction, I think both guys are going to come in. I think the wrestling is going to cancel each other out. And I think this fight is going to be primarily contested on the feet. And I really don't know who's the better striker. I think Sean Brady has more power in his hands, but I don't know if he's going to be able to catch Belal Muhammad and put him away. And I think Belal Muhammad just has more experience. I think he has the better cardio. So for my early prediction, as it gets closer to the fight, I'm going to do a full breakdown and prediction. But as far as an early prediction, I'm going to go Belal Muhammad. I just think he's too experienced. I think his cardio is better. I think the wrestling's going to cancel each other out. And I think Belal Muhammad will get it done. Plus, this is the biggest step up in competition, Sean Brady has ever had. So I tend to lean towards more of experience rather than, okay, this guy's looked great, but not against the best competition. And if Sean Brady, this is only going to be a 3-round fight. And I think if this was a 5-round fight, I'd be even more confident for Belal Muhammad. But at the same time, this is only a 3-round fight. So, this fight could really go either way. But let me know down in the comments, who do you guys think is going to win this fight? As far as Khamzat Chimaev, that is very interesting because you have Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. You have Colby Covington, who doesn't have a fight. You have Gilbert Burns, who Khamzat Chimaev just fought. You have Belal Muhammad, who obviously has a fight with Sean Brady we just talked about. Vicente Luque has a fight, I think, with Jeff Neal. He's not fighting Wonderboy Thompson. He's not fighting Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is probably going to fight either Gilbert Burns or Conor McGregor or maybe even Nate Diaz, if I had to guess. There's no way they're doing Khamzat Chimaev, Jorge Masvidal is all I'm saying. There's really not a lot of options for Khamzat Chimaev. Are they going to put him against maybe an unranked guy at middleweight? I doubt that. The last thing the UFC wants is to have Khamzat Chimaev spoiled by an unranked or maybe a top 15 ranked middleweight. So I really think it comes down to 3 potential options for Khamzat Chimaev. I think they either find a way to book Khamzat Chimaev versus Colby Covington, which is a killer fight that I would love to see. It's the fight that I've wanted the most in the welterweight division because you have Colby Covington, lost 2 fights to Kamaru Usman. The second fight was very, very close. The first fight he got stopped in, but the second fight was razor close. And if Colby wants a third fight against Kamaru Usman, that's pretty much unheard of to lose 2 fights and still get a third title shot. Max Holloway just did it. He lost the third fight. But if he wanted to get it, go out there and finish a guy with all the hype in the world like Khamzat Chimaev. I think that would earn him a third title shot against Kamaru Usman if he's still the champ. And as far as Khamzat Chimaev goes, I think in the UFC's eyes, he's already earned a title shot. He beat Gilbert Burns. Kamaru Usman's beat a lot of these guys within the division already. So if Khamzat Chimaev can go out there and beat a guy like Colby Covington, he would unequivocally deserve the next title shot in the welterweight division. And I don't even think he has to do that for the UFC to give him a title shot. But I would love that matchup, but I don't think Colby Covington is going to take that fight. The guy is super vocal 24/7. He has not said a word about Khamzat Chimaev, and he's been known in the past to be super selective about fights. I don't think he's taking that fight. The next option would be potentially Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz has said he would accept the fight. I know Khamzat Chimaev would accept the fight. The UFC wants to make this fight because, Nate Diaz wants out of his UFC contract. He has 1 fight left on his deal. And they want to do that. They want to put him in a very unfavorable matchup. And let's be honest, I love Nate Diaz. Khamzat Chimaev would smash Nate Diaz, but that would be a massive fight for the UFC. And also they would get to devalue Nate Diaz on his way out the door. So I think that's a real possibility because Nate just may accept it. Dana White already said Nate accepted it before. He might just accept it. He wants to get out of his contract and go on to fight YouTubers in boxing matches. The only other option I could see for Khamzat Chimaev is maybe he has like a lingering injury. Maybe something's going on with him. He's waiting to see what happens in Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards 2 at UFC 278. Maybe he's waiting. Maybe he might step in on short notice if somebody pulls out of that fight. Or, even so, he might just be waiting and say, I'm going to fight the winner. They're fighting in August. Maybe he could fight the winner by the end of the year or early next year, and he's okay with sitting out. He's only fought once this year so far against Gilbert Burns, and he was a guy that liked to stay super active. But if he's knocking on the door of a title shot, the UFC knows he's a star in the making. Khamzat Chimaev is already a massive star. He may just wait out. The UFC might not want to risk him against somebody else. They know that he can draw in pay-per-view buys against Kamaru Usman or against Leon Edwards. Can you imagine the storyline if Leon Edwards takes the belt off of Kamaru Usman and we finally get the Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev matchup that's been scheduled like 3 times and canceled 3 times? So he might just be waiting to see what happens. Who knows? Kamaru Usman could get a quick finish and then do a quick turnaround and fight Khamzat Chimaev 3 months later, or vice versa for Leon Edwards. We don't know, and the fight's fight's not that far away. It's about 6 weeks away. So maybe he's just waiting that out, see what happens there before the UFC books his next fights. That's my best guess. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.